You ever notice sometimes when you're talking to somebody that it's when you go back and replay the stuff that they say, it's really the stuff that they didn't say. Because this bullshit with my landlord, her having the fucking audacity to knock on my door at 9 o'clock at night, drunk, basically, saying, oh, I don't want that dog here, blah, 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 blah. Okay, fast forward. So what you're saying is you don't want that dog in your house, in the house that your trailer, whatever, that you're renting us. Okay, that's totally understandable. But what you're really saying is, I don't want him in the house, but it's okay if he sits out in the fucking yard for another year or two, because that's how long it's taken you or anybody else in this neighborhood, including myself, to act, And when I told her, hey, I'm just as guilty as you. You're the property owner. You should have called the sheriff's department numerous times. You'd said that this guy wasn't allowed to keep this dog 2.5 fucking years ago, okay? And you never did anything about it. So you're guilty, just like I'm guilty, okay? Just like I couldn't even look down there in that direction of that dog for 6 months because I was afraid I wasn't going to be able to handle myself and that I was going to get arrested because I was going to smack his owner around. Well, I had been praying and praying and praying about it, and I kept saying, God, I got to do something with this dog. God, tell me what to do with this dog. And he just never answered me for the longest time. And then we just happened to move 2 doors down, like the band, 2 doors down, and the dog had been loose. The dog had been loose a lot, running around and running around and running around, and he kind of just chilled with us, for like 2 days. So I went to bring him back, and Dumb and Dumber, the owner, the fucking human trafficker, piece of shit that isn't allowed to own animals. Sorry if I get a little bit emotional when I'm talking when I refer to him, but I went and hooked the dog back up in his yard, and the guy, the guy never will come out. Obviously, the guy's never going to come out and challenge me. I've walked in his yard, and there'd be 4 or 5 guys on the porch, and they walk in the house, And I don't even think it's because I'm intimidating. I just thought it was because of COVID. That's how stupid these people are, So he said something to me. I was leashing the dog up, putting him, tying him to a tree, because that's what you do with dogs, And he said something like, "What are you doing in my yard, boy?" Like, I just looked at him. I said, "Shut the fuck up, dude." I said, "I'm bringing you your dog back, you ungrateful fuck." And I walked probably about 20 steps. I went in the house and I said to her, it's just like God just clearly spoke to me. He said, "Go take that dog right now." Right in broad daylight. I said, "Okay." Walked right in the yard, unhooked the dog, kicked the fence open, got the dog, walked the 22 seconds it takes to get to my house, and he's been there ever since. But for the landlord who's seen me walking the dog, being responsible, playing with him, he's not shitting in the yard, instead of going, I just want to make sure that he's not going to tear up my house and da-da-da-da-da. She lets her niece move in with a pit bull. Just so many things, But then she tried to let it slide under her breath that, I'm going to need a deposit of $500, which she said to me earlier. She tried, and I was telling Ruth, I said, she tries to make it sound like all these cats that we feed, like, when we cleaned the house out, we mopped, bleached, cleaned the countertops, I pulled behind the stove, I sprayed it for fleas, everything. Did the windows with Windex, and she acted like I left it, like, disgusting. You couldn't even tell that I had a cat, And it's just like she said something that one day, like, I said, listen, if there's anything broken in this house, yeah, the light fixture, the bulb broke on that, I couldn't order another one, or just dumb shit like a screw came out of the stove. Nothing of any major you know, whatever. I said, just tell me what you need and I'll fix it. I'm not expecting you to come out of your pocket. I have no problem taking responsibility for the shit I did. You know what I mean? Then she's like, well, everybody's going to start paying a $500 deposit. And I said, that's fine. I said, I'm not giving it to you all at once. Then when I got home, I thought about it. I had been the only one making $11, $12 an hour by myself, paying the rent increase, which went up from, I forget, $650 to $750 or something, you know. Everybody else was saying no, they couldn't afford it. People with 3 incomes. I pay my rent 2 months in advance, a month in advance. The rent for June was paid on the 20th of last month. And I just said to her, I said to my girl, I said, man, fuck her. I'm not giving her any extra money. Yeah, let me see. I want to see where people paid you $500 for a deposit. You think that I'm going to be the one that you're going to fucking shake down? You're out of your mind, bitch. And she's like, well, I have somebody that will take the dog. And I said, I didn't say at the time because I didn't hear her say this, but if you had somebody to take the dog, why would you let him sit there for 2 years in the fucking pouring rain and in this extreme heat? You know what I mean? And like I told her, she didn't want to hear this shit. I said, you're guilty, your husband's guilty, just as guilty as I am for allowing that dog to sit in those conditions. Each one of us, including myself, is guilty of neglect because nobody did anything about it. And you, being the property owner, you should have did some shit way before I did, and now I did, and now you're acting like, no, I don't want him in my house. Well, what's the alternative? You know, gonna go tie him to a tree? So it's just crazy. It's like, you're a grandma. You should be teaching these lessons to your fucking kids, your grandkids. They should see their grandma doing the right thing, not being a selfish old twat.